all the items you need to either to purchase or to pay, so that the wife will be handed over to you. So, and you'll be given a list. It cuts across all families. You'll be given a definite list and everything spread out. Well, we've been there. The basic list running down. You could see things like basins, wheelbarrows, chairs. Oh yes,
Wheelbarrow.
Not just empty basins. Let me explain that very carefully, because don't make that mistake and buy basins and get over there and they look at you strange.
Okay.
Why, when you buy basins, fill them all with meat, not just meat, real meat. Meat, either dry fish, the big ones, not the small ones, right? Before you go and get this medigree fish and put in there, they won't accept that. You must be looking.
There's a difference between the fish, not the
agatu fish. Have you known agatu fish?
Of course.
The big ones.
Yes.
Very big ones. Feed them up in the basins. Or grass cutter basins.
Not just one.
It could be 2 or 3 basins. I don't want to frighten you. Depends on your social pedigree in terms of your capacity anyway. That is why I said from the beginning that there are differences based on what our social backgrounds and etc. So, and of course, sometimes when you look at your bride, your wife to be, and you look at the family, that also can become a motivation that you can't just hand down or anything over to the family, So the basins have to be filled with meat, wheelbarrows, what is that? 20 liters of oil, real pure palm oil. Because on the final day of the consummation of the marriage, the traditional marriage,
yes,
where you invite your clan, the other clan invites everybody, it becomes a festival, a fun fair, a lot of cooking, a lot of eating. But as the cooking and the eating goes on, the party goes on, you have to provide some specifics in terms of diary, depending on the clan and of course the family. You say you have to pay this 10,000 there, 20,000 there, 100,000 there, for specific items. I say, no, you need a mat to put that money on to count. You think there's a mat they're looking for, and you run to the market and brought one tattered mat, you're in trouble. That mat is money. Put money on the ground, So then it continues on that way. But eventually, then the nun tell you, this is the bride price. Now, for the tea people, I'm saying this based on, I'm part of them, of course, we'll see what they do. The bride price is always unending. You don't pay it once and for all. You might be saying, look, bring 1 million. We've been to families where they say, bring 1 million, bring 500,000. But whatever you have, you give. Now, it is until recently, let me clarify this here on this program.
Okay.
Now that the TIV Traditional Council, under the TOTIV, Professor James Ayatsi Ochivirin, and the what you call the GTAM, that is the Supreme Council of the TIV Nation, came together and said, no, let's see how we can harmonize these practices and come up with some common traditions. Not just that, but make it less, monetized. Let's make it less expensive. Let's make it in such a way that any person, no matter your pedigree in terms of your social status, you can marry. I think that was a good thing that they did. So they came out and then looked at the number of issues and said, look, the dowry shouldn't be more than 100,000.
Wow.
I'm referring to the GTAM and the Supreme Council. That is the recent decision that was taken. Now, even if you're going to pay 100,000, it's never unending because marriage is an unending relationship. Let me add here, for the TIV people, marriages cannot be that easily divorced and separated, except there are grave issues that threatens life and the existence of life.
Please, I want you to straighten that part again.
Yeah, the marriage is not that easily separable or divorced unless there are grave issues that threatens life and existence. In other words, either the life of the woman is under threat or the life of the children is under threat, and it's clear and that can be established. Yeah, then that marriage can be dissolved or separation can take place, divorce also can take place. Otherwise, as far as TIV culture is concerned, once you're married, you're married. Dowry itself is unending. Because as long as human relationship exists, you keep servicing it. This point is important. And you service it at different level and at different strata. It could be through sponsoring, being sponsored to education, being sponsored for one thing or the other, but that is the way it is. It's something that is always there. And of course, in one word or other, you're trying to see how you can fine tune the high point of a marital relationship to sustain the marital harmony.